Could the Super Bowl one day be played outside the US? It's a big question, but NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell recently gave us a glimpse into the future of international NFL expansion, and let's just say, a Super Bowl abroad might not be as far off as you think. Stick around, because we're diving into Goodell's thoughts on international franchises, the NFL's global ambitions, and how this could all tie into the possibility of a Super Bowl played on foreign soil. Let's break it down. NFL's international expansion, a franchise beyond US borders. It's no secret that the NFL has been making big moves to expand its reach beyond the United States. From games in London, Germany, and Mexico, to the recent debut in São Paulo, the league is clearly focused on growing its fanbase across the globe. But Roger Goodell just took things to a whole new level when he hinted that an international franchise could be in the league's future. I do think there's potential someday we're going to have an international franchise, Goodell shared during his annual Super Bowl press conference. While he didn't reveal any concrete plans, he made it clear that the idea of a franchise based outside the US could eventually pave the way for a Super Bowl played abroad. While we're not talking about next year or even in the next few years, it's clear that the NFL is laying the groundwork for a truly global league. Imagine a Super Bowl in London, or a championship game played in the heart of a city like Toronto or São Paulo. Sounds wild? Maybe, but Goodell doesn't think it's that far-fetched. The immediate goal: more international games. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's dial back and look at what's happening right now. Goodell also discussed the NFL's plans to host even more international games in the near future, with the ultimate goal being 16 international games per season. That's a lot of football across the world. In 2024, 5 NFL games were held outside the US, in cities like London, Mexico City, and Frankfurt. São Paulo, Brazil, also made history with its very first NFL game, between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Goodell praised the São Paulo game as a success, noting how the fans' reactions showed just how engaged the international audience is. That was a great opportunity for them to get a sense of what it's like to be in our stadium during a game, Goodell said, and to experience it, and the reaction and spark that it creates is critical to our efforts. Clearly, expanding the league's presence globally is a top priority. So far, the NFL has shown it's committed to growing this global fanbase with games in England, Mexico, Germany, and Brazil. And with Spain on the horizon for 2025, Miami Dolphins are heading to Madrid. The NFL is clearly just getting started. The road to 16 international games. But here's where things get even more interesting. Goodell wants to take things further. In November, he revealed that the goal for the 2025 season is to hold 8 international games. But, in his latest comments, he made it clear that the league's ultimate goal is to double that number, to 16 international games per season. And that would likely mean the NFL has to expand its regular season from 17 to 18 games. Goodell has been very vocal about this goal, and league owners are on board as well. In fact, they're hoping to make the move to 18 games within the next 2 to 3 years, provided they can work out the details with the NFL Players Association, NFLPA. Expanding to 18 games would allow for a more balanced distribution of games globally, while still preserving the integrity of the regular season. Will the NFL's global growth lead to a Super Bowl abroad? But let's circle back to the big question. Could the Super Bowl one day be held outside the US? While Goodell didn't commit to anything specific, the potential is there, if the league moves forward with its plans to establish a full-fledged international franchise. It wouldn't be surprising at all if the Super Bowl followed suit and was played in that city. Imagine the Super Bowl in a massive, international city, filled with fans from all corners of the globe. Sounds pretty epic, right? Of course, this would be a monumental shift for the NFL, and it's clear that the league would need to work through a lot of logistical challenges to make it happen. But considering the league's increasing focus on global expansion, a Super Bowl abroad isn't as far-fetched as it may seem. Conclusion: a global league on the horizon. So, there you have it. While we're not booking flights for a Super Bowl in London just yet, the NFL's international ambitions are very real. Whether it's through more games across the globe or potentially setting up a franchise outside the US, the league is committed to growing its presence internationally. And who knows, maybe one day, we'll all be watching the Super Bowl from the other side of the world. What do you think? Would you be up for an international Super Bowl? Or do you think it's too big of a change for the NFL? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest NFL updates, news, and insights. As always, we'll keep you in the loop on the league's next big moves. See you in the next one. Hold on tight, football fans, because we've got some drama that's stirring up the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs are gearing up to make history in the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. But amid all the excitement, there's a growing theory making the rounds. Some folks believe that the NFL is unfairly helping the Chiefs out with favorable officiating calls. Well, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell isn't having any of it. He's firing back at these accusations in a big way. Is there any truth to this ridiculous theory? Or is it just fan frustration talking? Stick around as we dive into Goodell's response, what he had to say about the Chiefs' dominance, and the future of officiating in the NFL. You don't want to miss this one. Let's break it down. Goodell's response to officiating theories. Alright, let's set the stage, as the Kansas City Chiefs get ready to face the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59. Some fans have started to throw around a pretty wild theory, that the NFL is somehow helping the Chiefs, especially with officiating calls. Yeah, we're talking about the idea that the league's officials are making calls in favor of the Chiefs, whether it's penalty decisions, replay reviews, or key moments in the game. Now, you might be thinking, could this really be happening? Well, Roger Goodell sure doesn't think so. During his annual State of the League press conference, Goodell shot down the theory with a pretty clear statement. He called it a ridiculous theory, and was adamant that anyone who seriously believes it has lost touch with reality. But that's not all. He went on to explain that while these kinds of theories reflect the passion of the fans, they don't hold any weight in the actual way the NFL operates. Officiating is a crucial part of the game, and the men and women who officiate in the NFL are outstanding. Goodell said, it seems like he's not just defending the integrity of the league, but also taking a stand for the officials who work hard to keep things fair. So, there you have it. Goodell's pretty clear. The idea of the NFL rigging games for the Chiefs? Just a theory with no legs to stand on. A record-breaking season for the Chiefs. Now, let's talk about the Chiefs themselves. They've had a phenomenal season, finishing with a 15-2 regular season record, and they're gunning for a historic third Super Bowl win in a row. And while some fans may think that's a sign of favoritism, Goodell had a different perspective. He pointed out that the Chiefs' regular season record is proof of the league's competitive balance. How? Because many of the Chiefs' victories came down to one possession, which means they had to work hard for every win. In other words, the Chiefs didn't just steamroll their way to the Super Bowl. They earned it, and it's not because the league is making sure they win. It's about the competitive nature of the NFL, which is what makes the league so exciting. The technology debate, first downs and ball tracking. If you've watched any Chiefs game this season, you've probably seen some late game drama. A lot of their wins came in nail-biting moments, including their thrilling AFC Championship victory over the Buffalo Bills. That game, in particular, featured a controversial fourth down attempt late in the game, with officials ruling that Buffalo's quarterback Josh Allen was short of the first down. This sparked even more questions about the accuracy of officiating. Enter technology. Fans have been asking why the NFL doesn't use ball tracking technology to eliminate human error when measuring first downs. Well, Goodell addressed that too, explaining that technology is still a work in progress. According to the commissioner, ball tracking technology is complicated and challenging to implement, especially when it comes to measuring first downs. Why? Well, for one thing, first downs and touchdowns are determined by the placement of the ball, not necessarily the ball carrier. And with the football being oblong in shape, measuring it accurately can be a tricky task. But Goodell was hopeful that ball tracking tech could be a part of the NFL's future, saying that the league is testing it in preseason games and continuing to evaluate its reliability. We're testing it to see the accuracy and reliability, because you have to get it right, Goodell explained. While this technology could eventually change the way we view first downs, the league wants to make sure it's done right before fully implementing it. The NFL's push for replay and transparency. Goodell also touched on another hot topic, Replay assistance. Over the years, the NFL has increasingly relied on replay technology to assist referees with difficult calls. And it sounds like more could be on the way. For example, replay assist technology is used to get additional angles on plays that officials might have missed or were too close to call. Goodell suggested that face mask penalties might even be added to the replay assist system in the future. And here's where Goodell really takes a firm stance: when mistakes are made, the NFL owns up to them. "We're not afraid to admit when we make mistakes," he said. The league has been more transparent than ever when it comes to correcting errors on the field. And Goodell acknowledged that the NFL still has work to do in terms of communicating and educating fans about rules and calls. What about flopping? And speaking of rules, another issue that's been brought up, especially when it comes to officiating, is flopping. You know, when players exaggerate or fake injuries to get a penalty. But Goodell didn't seem too worried about it, saying that flopping hasn't been a major issue in the NFL. He did acknowledge that the competition committee will continue to evaluate various aspects of officiating during the offseason. But for now, it seems like flopping isn't high on his list of priorities. Conclusion: the Chiefs are not being favored. So, there you have it. Roger Goodell has made it clear that while passionate fans may have their theories, the idea that the NFL is rigging games for the Chiefs simply isn't true. The Chiefs' dominance this season is more about their talent and grit than it is about biased officiating. And when it comes to officiating as a whole, the league is working hard to improve and make sure the games are as fair as possible. So, as we gear up for Super Bowl 59, rest assured, there's no script here, just two great teams battling it out on the biggest stage. Alright, folks, what do you think? Is there any truth to the claims that the Chiefs are getting some extra help from the league? Or is this all just fan speculation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more NFL drama, breakdowns, and the latest updates. Whether you're cheering for the Chiefs or the Eagles, one thing's for sure, the Super Bowl is going to be lit. See you next time, and enjoy the game.